Pre-orders are a weird thing. Companies ask you to pay in advance for a game you've never played, and a lot of times you've never seen, and then to entice you to their side, they give you some of the dumbest merch imaginable. Welcome to Chaos Gaming. Make sure you follow the page so you never miss an upload. Today we're going to go over some really dumb pre-order bonuses in gaming history. Let me know if you got tricked or ripped off by any of these. Drop a like, and let's start off with Horizon Omega in No Man's Sky. Now, No Man's Sky was a mess of a game upon release. Everybody knows that. Lots of bugs, broken promises, absolute lack of fun. It was bad. But you know what poured salt into that already gaping wound? Horizon Omega. This was a Starship exclusive to people who pre-ordered the game, right? And it was terrible. Not only do you have this ship laying around in your inventory as a permanent reminder that you were kind of conned into buying the original version of No Man's Sky, but it's also virtually unusable because it's that bad. I mean, thank goodness the game made a comeback, because if No Man's Sky was still a mess, it probably would have gotten a higher spot on today's list. But one that beat it out is Johnny Gat for Agents of Mayhem. Now, Agents of Mayhem was an open-world action game developed by Volition, the team behind the Saints Row games. That sounds good. Despite Agents of Mayhem being an open-world game with wacky weapons, big personalities, and a ton of comedy, the devs were adamant that it was not Saints Row. It's not Saints Row. Now, you need to treat it like a brand new game because it's not Saints Row. You understand me? Then they announced the pre-order bonus. You ready? A Saints Row skin based on Johnny Gat. It also didn't help that Agents of Mayhem ended up just being a crappier version of Saints Row. Now, I'm all for Saints Row devs branching out and doing something new, but this whole thing, it was kind of lame. It was. You know what else was lame? The Sand Globe for Resident Evil 5. After the massive success of RE4, Capcom was looking to keep that gravy train chugging with RE5. In terms of gameplay, RE5 kept the over-the-shoulder shooting of RE4, but this time, they doubled up the action. They deleted most of the horror, and they added co-op. Now, RE5 isn't a bad game on its own, but it definitely rubbed a lot of Resident Evil fans the wrong way due to the focus on action instead of horror. And people, well, they were confused when they saw the pre-order bonus for this game. If you pre-ordered Resident Evil 5, you ready? You got a snow globe. A snow globe with the two main characters in it, but instead of snow, it was sand, because the game took place in a desert. So it wasn't a snow globe, it was a sand globe. Resident Evil is a franchise full of awesome weapons, gadgets, and collectibles. So you decide if you're happy that they gave you a sand globe. Yeah. Next up, a loading screen for Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. Now this may be the longest game title on this list. And Final Fantasy Type 0 was released in late 2011 for the PSP. Then later on, it got an HD re-release on the PC. Yay! If you were buying this re-release Final Fantasy game, you would think you got some awesome goodies, right? Square Enix usually spares no expense with this franchise, but if you ordered or pre-ordered the Steam version of Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, all you got, are you ready? An exclusive loading screen. Woo-ha! Slow down there, Square Enix. Calm down with all the goodies. Next up, extra lives for Sonic Lost World. Now, all things considered, Lost World was one of the better Sonic games of the last decade. Nobody talks about it. Released in 2013 for the Wii U and 3DS, it was both a 2D and 3D platformer alike, and if it had been released on more popular consoles, it could have had a pretty decent return to form for the Blue Speedster. However, the pre-order bonus for the game probably wasn't going to convince you it was a good experience. If you ordered or pre-ordered Sonic Lost World, guess what? You got 25 extra lives, something that you could get in-game with very little effort. So in case you forgot, you got an extra life every 100 rings in Sonic. So if you just collect a bunch of rings, and you kind of defeated the purpose of the pre-order bonus. I mean, that's a super high effort display right there. Yeah. All right. We have arrived at number 5. An air freshener for Star Fox Adventures. Now, this game was developed by Rare and released for the GameCube, 18 years ago? Most people consider it to be one of the biggest missteps in the history of the Star Fox franchise, but those missteps didn't just stop with the game. If you pre-order the game from select locations, I don't really know where these select locations are, you would get some air freshener. Now, because Nintendo thinks you smell, they're going to give you air freshener. I mean, I guess it looked kind of cool, and a lot of people never opened theirs because it was a Nintendo game, so obviously there were going to be collectors who loved it, so yeah, maybe they're worth some money. I haven't looked them up, but no. If you pre-ordered this sci-fi space adventure with a Star Fox, you got an air freshener. Next up, the 3 skin in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. This one's weird, and it makes sense on paper, but in practice, it failed. Call of Duty likes to promote itself from game to game, so it makes sense that the pre-order bonus for Black Ops 3 would give you some goodies in Advanced Warfare, the previous game at the time. So if you pre-order Black Ops 3 digitally on the same account you were playing Advanced Warfare on, well, you would get a gun skin in Advanced Warfare called 3. What is it? Well, it's a black skin with the Black Ops 3 logo on it. That's it. Nothing cool, nothing interesting. Just a literal billboard for Black Ops 3 that you put on your AW, advanced movement guns. Usually Activision's pretty good at hyping people up for the next Call of Duty game, but this one didn't really drop any jaws. Next up, this one's just weird. I don't understand. A football for Assassin's Creed 4. Assassin's Creed 4 was an awesome game and an open-world pirate adventure on the high seas that had the all-great Assassin's Creed action people would expect from the franchise. So how did Ubisoft hype people up for this swashbuckling adventure? With a football. If you pre-order the game set in the 1700s, you got a miniature American football with the Assassin's Creed logo on it. Just for reference, American football wasn't even invented until 1869, more than 100 years after the game takes place. And I think I speak for everybody when I say American football is not what I think of when I think of the pirates. You can still find these Assassin's Creed footballs on eBay for about $15. So if you want a piece of gaming history, baffling as it may be, go for it. Knock your socks off. Next up, Duke Nukem Forever, Spec Ops: The Line. Now, I saw this image floating around. I honestly don't know if it's real or not, but I'll let you guys help me out. I hope not. Spec Ops: The Line was a very serious and well-crafted military shooter released 8 years ago. However, just about a year later, the infamous Duke Nukem Forever hit shelves and was widely considered one of the worst games of all time. Now, I don't know where this promo is from, but I'm guessing they had way too many Duke Nukem copies and they were looking for any excuse they can find to get rid of them. So if you pre-ordered Spec Ops at this location, you would get a free copy of Duke Nukem Forever, a game that is the polar opposite in terms of tone and quality. Again, I have no clue if this is actually real or if somebody just edited this, but regardless, it gets the number 2 spot just because yikes if it is real. And then at number 1, bigger yikes, the glow-in-the-dark condoms from Infamous Second Son. Now here it is, perhaps the most infamous, pre-order bonus of all time. Some marketing exec over at Sony thought it would be a fantastic idea to give out glow-in-the-dark prophylactics and a can of Red Bull to anybody who pre-ordered Infamous Second Son at GameStop in Italy. Now that I think about it, this is actually really cool. So why was it exclusive to Italy? Why was Red Bull involved? Were you supposed to use the condoms and the Red Bull at the same time? I don't know. Were you supposed to? I don't know what you were supposed to do. Infamous is a game with nothing in that tone about it, so why were they involved? I don't know. We'd still never know the reasoning behind the infamous pre-order bonus, but you could still find them lurking on eBay every once in a while. Come to think of it, these are probably some of the most infamous condoms ever made. Just make sure you buy them new and not used to add to your collection. And there you have it. Those are some pre-order bonuses that somebody probably that gets paid a lot of money sitting up in an office thinking about things on a whiteboard came up with, and they probably don't even play video games. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do me a favor, make sure you turn on those notifications, like the page so you never miss an upload, and I'll see you soon.